Volleyball Tour leaders, please welcome Nikki, Laird, and Phoebe Bell. Ladies and gentlemen, first semi-final back on the way here on centre court. The other elite women's semi-final over there on court 16.
Let's do it.
Swirl the crowds with the gold medal match later on this afternoon's broadcast on SBS.
Morning, one and all. Good morning, good morning, good morning, one and all. Joining us at the Oz Volley YouTube channel. You are joining us for our first game of the day. And the first points go to the lesser seeds, the number 5s from Victoria, Beck Ingram, and the birthday girl, Christie Jenkins, serves an unreturnable first up against the number 1 seeds, Nikki Laird and Phoebe Bell. This is the Women's Elite program. And it is the semi-final number 1. Super Sunday here at the Australian Beach Volleyball Championships 2022. Still morning. Overcast conditions, a little bit of rain coming in from the west, we think. If you're new to the channel, or if you're new to the sport, or if you're just new to the broadcast today or yesterday even, our courts are orientated slightly counterintuitively, or at least slightly differently to what most people would consider the norm. This is orientated north-south, and at the southern end, the girls in gold, going for gold, and the championship are our number 1 seeds, Nikki Laird, and the server is Phoebe Bell. And taking them on the green mean machines of the number 5 seeds, Beck Ingram and Christie Jenkins. And that's going to be Christie Jenkins having a swing. Goes knuckles and gets inside the blocker in Nikki Laird. Ingram this time gets Phoebe Bell a little tied up on the net. Now the final schedule, ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls, and cats and dogs and birds and whoever you are watching us, wherever you are in the world. Final schedule today, the bronze medal matches are going to be live right here at the Oz Volley channel YouTube page. The women's bronze will be at 11:30. And the men's bronze at 12:30. The loser of this match will be playing in that particular match. And the gold medal matches will be live on SBS Viceland. Women's gold at 2 and the men's gold at 3. Yes, you heard correct, live on television. SBS Viceland. Check your local digital numbers, or if you're still turning a knob, I don't know if you'll even get it, but hey, you can still catch us here. So we're all tied up, 4 points all. Christie Jenkins back on the sand and back in semi-finals and medal contention. She'll be very happy with her performance with her partner. She's a ripping athlete. Powerhouse. It's good to see another CJ back on the beach. Haven't seen one since late 90s with Baywatch. If you're across your references. Ingram goes in and behind the block. Very, very nicely done from her. This is, of course, just the start of Volley Slam. We've already planned for a couple of days, but this is crunch time for the Australian Championships, and Volley Slam goes for 10 days here at Coolangatta Beach, here in Queensland. Good spot from Ingram, but just mishandled it. I don't think she meant the one ball, but it went back over and out. Good position, just no control. And Volley Slam will continue straight after this competition. starting tomorrow with the Australian Youth Beach Volleyball Championships from the 28th to the 31st of March. It's going to be over 160 teams from here in Australia and New Zealand competing for the Australian Junior Beach Volleyball titles. Straight after that, there'll be the World Tour Beach Volleyball Pro Tour Futures event here at Coolangatta. So I just had someone in my ear. That'll be from the 30th of March to the 3rd of April. Then there's a slight overlap then. We'll have the Australian Beach Volleyball Schools Cup. So the kidlets will be running around bashing the heads and bodies together on the sand while the World Tour Futures event is going on. So plenty happening in hundreds and hundreds of metres of court here on beautiful Coolangatta Beach. We join the action again where the girls in green have got it over the number 1 seeds, and we just hope you can see it because it is very dark out there. It is, of course, 8 in the morning here in beautiful sunny Queensland, but the sun has somewhat disappeared behind some very gloomy, doomy looking storm clouds. And we're all tied up again at 7-all on the second change of ends. Oh, bang from Beck. Nice. Girls are really rolling the dice early stages here in the first set. But, you know, an early morning, a lesser seed against the number 1s, you got to go. You got to go hard, you got to go early, and you might just catch them unawares before that first morning coffee's kicked in. Great swing from Nikki. She loves firing herself up. She loves big, hard swing cross court. Christie can't control it. Still all tied up. Teams going for point, punch for punch. 9-all. Technical timeout coming up. Spreading the defenders in the court. What's Nikki got for us? Yep. Over the top, nice and easy. Now they're getting into their work. Number 1 seed certainly won't like being... Well, I think they'll relish the challenge, but they won't necessarily like it. Let's be honest, who loves working hard? I do. Hard work gets you luck. And we'll go to the technical timeout with just that 1 point buffer separating our number 1 seeds, Nikki Laird, to the number 5, and and of course Phoebe Bell, with their number 5 seed opponents, Beck Ingram and Christie Jenkins. Stay with us. Back in action from Jenkins. High roll. Can she get the touch on the block? She can. But now what she got? Little punch. Almost a fist. Playing fistball. What a sport that is. We'll come back to that later. Because this is where champions are made. The retreating blocker in Christie Jenkins, just out of reach from her. I think she might have just wrong-footed herself. Instead of turning and burning to get that up, I think she just started backtracking instead, which is a lot slower in the sand. And when you've got a high-hitting action from Nikki Laird, it's probably going to be a downfall, knowing the range she can gather. Shot from Ingram. It's so off-paced. Almost no pace. It's like an Ian Harvey slow ball. Maybe even back of the hand. If anyone gets that reference, please comment. And we've got just a little bit of precipitation here in Coolangatta. Perfect timing just for the semi-finals, just to add a little bit of fuel to the fire or some sizzle to the burn. It is 14 all. A really, really, well, let's be honest, it's tight. It couldn't be tighter. And add some rain into that. Whew. Whew. What's going to happen? Hand setting in the wet from Christie Jenkins. What a set. Plenty of support out there for early morning from the Vics. They might still be going from last night, I'm not sure. It's Christie's birthday yesterday. She's a bit of a teetotaler. Just a quick costume change for some of the girls out here. Christie Jenkins looks like she needs a bit of a visor. And some other people out there look like they might need an umbrella because it's a bit of a Queensland storm. How's the transition from the girls in green as the number 1 seeds in yellow storm to the bench and call a timeout, not even looking at Jake Passier, our first referee. And we'll be back in just a moment. Clear some heads and possibly a clearing shower, we shall see.
Big crew here out in force. They're going to make some noise as their athletes coming out. We got the New South Wales Winter combination pace to keep their number 1 seeds. 2 points to Drew Teal. A one side out point. Right here, right now, with Jenkins ball in hand.
To Jenkins and Ingram, which the number 1 seeds will not have expected. But we've seen plenty of upsets, especially in the quarterfinals yesterday. Number 3 seeds in both the men's. True. However, as we look at the rest of the competition, or the remainder of the competition, you would not expect to see 5s and 15s and whatnot in the semi-finals. And this is the current state of women's beach volleyball in Australia, that we have such great depth that we are all being challenged, even without, I dare say, our number 1 seeded team not even in the tournament. Ranked team, I should say, not seeded. Taliqua and Maria Fay will be obviously watching with great interest. Some of their friends, colleagues, training mates, partners, opponents, all that jazz. Big block and a big net touch that Nikki is not willing to turn around and look at. The guilt. Yeah. The yellow celebration turned into a palpable hue of frustration. Jump float from Beck Ingram. Tight pass. Dealt with. What a great defense. Beautiful hand set. Again, much to the dismay of the number 1 seeds. Clean as a whistle, not called. Why would you? Set point. 4 of them if you don't mind. And that ball goes out of the sideline. That is the first set to the number 5 seeds. We have got an upset on the cards. 21-16 going the way of Jenkins and Ingram over our number 1 seeds. We'll be back in just a moment. Don't you go anywhere unless it's just aboard the kettle.
Jenkins to get things off once more. Really smart there. Conditions just grabbing a hold of that ball. Ingram is doing what needs to be done to get a point on the board. 1-0.
All right, there's some frustration really billowing over here for our number 1 seeds. have seen Nikki fired up, and she is a weapon when it happens. I wonder if Phoebe Bell will follow her into the depths of that psyche and pull out some amazement as well. She's a little bit more reserved, Phoebe Bell, but I reckon she's got a mean streak in her as well. So let's see what happens. She's got her at the vacant court. Nicely done once again, Beck Ingram. We are down in Coolangatta. Left-handed swing, just a... They've popped themselves into the handiest leads of all, which is the... 4 serving 2. A little bit of a breeze. Still very, very dark, overcast conditions out there. In the distance, there's some blue skies and whatnot, but I don't think we're going to get that anytime soon. So we deal with what we're dealt. And right now, they might have started with a 2-7 offsuit, but they've got themselves a decent little flop. Jenkins. We're certainly not out-desired or out-trained. All of these athletes, whatever time they have to train. And we have that. Athletes are far from that stupid. To our number 1 seeds. We love an underdog story. We also love champions. That's why we're so torn. Are you a keen Victorian on a Sunday morning at 9:25 your local time, watching your girls go absolutely bunter? Or are you a Queenslander, possibly also a New South Wales person, much like the Phoebe Bell Queensland and New South Wales Nikki Laird pairing? Got a little bit of a battle royale. Queensland versus New South Wales, and welcome. We'd love to have you. I understand if you've put me on mute by now. Score is 7 points to 5. Still with our number 5 seeds leading. Christie Jenkins with the ball at the southern end of Coolangatta Beach. Plenty of rain dumping down in the distance, you can see, over the water and over surface paradise, which you may not be able to see now because of all that rain. But whatever outskirts of whatever weather pattern or system was passing us through has somewhat dissipated, so just the wet effects remain. The ball goes long. With the continuation of your lesson in meteorology today, ladies and gents, the barometer often drops when the rain hits. So the humidity in the air gets taken out, and sometimes that ball doesn't behave the same. It tends to wobble and swing around in the humidity. You may see similar sensations in tennis and in cricket in particular. Friday that we had to stop the competition for, but of course the sand. Who could forget the sand? You're at the mercy. So right now, with a little bit of rain, that humidity's been, or that sensation of humidity's effect on the conditions is taken out. So you may start to see the ball wobble around less or drop less on float serves. We're back to a 1-point buffer. Nikki Laird with the ball. And thus concludes today's lesson on weather. Great touch from Ingram. Just holding the girls in gold at bay at the moment. And it's really time for Nikki and Phoebe to get into their work. And with a swing like that, time to go to work. I think they've checked in, folks. I think they've... Only two of you got to cover. It's a game of angles. Oh, too strong from Jenkins. Phoebe Bell, in these wet conditions, not quite able to handle that. Fingers under the palm, creates the tee, and away we go for a short break, and we'll be back in it. Strategic timeout taken by Nikki and Phoebe. They trail by 3 points. The tech timeout's coming up as well, so tactically quite smart by the girls trying to break. There you go, paid off. Straight after the timeout, error. Yeah, just trying to gather some momentum, or at least break some of the momentum from the number 5 seeds, the Victorians. South of the border, the Mexicans are coming. Oh, great, tough, flat serve. So building momentum and something for them to think and chat about as we go to the tech timeout. Another short break, and we'll be back with what looks to be a real spicy affair from these Mexicans coming up. Of course, they're the Victorians. Jenkins and Ingram taking on Bell and Laird. Back in action after the tech timeout. They were going far too long from Christie Jenkins, not quite getting the purchase she wanted. And we've got some rip-snorting action here today at the Australian Championships of 2022 in Queensland, the home of world-class events. You've got Volley Slam now. You had the Com Games a few years ago and an Olympic year coming up in 10 short years. And off the back of a couple of handy breaks in play with a technical timeout and a tactical one as well, Laird and Bell are now just hitting the lead. 12 serving 10. Picking on Jenkins at the moment. She won't mind that. She relishes the opportunity to swing, 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 but maybe a few too many errors. Yes, that's brought about a side change for the receiving team. So Beck has gone to the right side and Christie now on left. Let's just see a change in position, change in fortunes as they now find themselves 2 point in arrears. It's been a 4 or 5 point turnaround already this set, so they go down the line to her again. She's going to attack middle court, sneaks her way through, slippery block. Ingram's turn this time. Nice hands. Great swing. Beck Ingram. Much to the delight of the Coolangatta crowd. The rain has brought them together under the Volleyball Australia shelters, and it is creating an amphitheatre of excitement. Oh, she rolls, and rolls over the tape. I reckon more than half of that ball hit low on the upper part of the tape and still snuck its way over. Physics be damned. Great shot. Once again, myself and Jonathan Fogarty will be joining us later. We were mentioning yesterday about Phoebe Bell, and she's left-handed, fairly obvious. However, she's starting to play a lot more from the left side of the court, which is fairly non-traditional. So just opening up different angles. Maybe it's getting into the psyche of the sport a little bit more, holding the defenders more cross-court, because that's where the money balls go. But if you're holding the defender there longer, it just opens up more line. Might not be the power swing, but hell, if it's winning your points, take it. Almost a little chicken wing there from the secondary block from Nikki Laird, not quite up to snuff. We've got ourselves a 1-point ball game. Again. Incredible. Ball goes long. Again, just those conditions. It's what team handles whatever conditions are best in these types of situations. You could be the number 1 seed. You could be the 15th seed. You could come through qualifiers. You could have had only 3 games to play this weekend. It doesn't matter. You play the conditions. You play your opponents. Phoebe back on. Let's see if she goes hard cross or high line. What was the call of a net touch on Ingram? A lot of hard work in that point from both teams, but goes the way of the number 1 seeds as we will go for a quick break and a chat. And while we've still got your attention, the bronze medal match will be broadcast here on the Oz Volley channel on YouTube, not SBS On Demand like in previous broadcasts. So stay with us for most of the day. Bronze medal, 11:30 a.m. for the women. That will be the loser of this match. 12:30 p.m. for the men, still here at the Oz Volley YouTube channel. Then we move our attention to the gold. The women will be at 2 p.m. and the men at 3 p.m. on TV on SBS Viceland. That's right, you heard it here first, folks. SBS Viceland with the gold medal match. The winner of this match will go through to that and will be playing at 2 p.m. Who's it going to be? We don't know. Let's watch. Little bit of work to be done from both teams. Can Nikki and Phoebe build what they have already somewhat laid foundations for and go into a third and deciding set? They have to keep their championship aspirations alive. Jenkins and Ingram, with already the first set under their belts, find themselves 4 points in arrears in the late stages of the second. Seemingly going to a third set. What momentum can they build for themselves to cash in on such a great start? And that'll do. That's a great shot. Just an easy approach. Catching the blocker just in a half jump. The defender trailing in after the serve, not quite ready. Saw her opportunity and took it. Laird and Bell, 3 points away from squaring it up. Jenkins and Ingram, 3 points away from squaring up this set. Great swing, beautiful defense, and just too much of you in the net is not what you want. Oh, Christie Jenkins. Gone fishing, getting caught in the net. 19, serving 15. Nikki Laird, standing approach. Jump float. Bump set. Jenkins. Oh, we've got ourselves a couple of bodies all diving around, reaching for the same ball. Another one now going to Jenkins and Ingram. Bell and Laird looked like they were just enjoying a nice little campfire. Lying down on the sand, just surrounding by the hot ball. Oh, catches it high in the chest, but good control. What's she got? She's got it all. Christie Jenkins. She's been around for so long. She's one of the hardest working trainers on and off the sand. Certainly not to undersell anyone else out there. But not only knowing Christie, but also plug for myself, having trained her for some time. On and off over the years, depending on where she is in the country, in the world, in her life. But nice little patient shot from Phoebe Bell over the top of the back of the block to the vacant court, brings up set point, 2017. Can Jenkins and Ingram pull a few rabbits out of the hat, or are we going straight into a third and deciding set? Well, there's a funny looking rabbit. As the great and powerful Tim said once in a Holy Grail, that is no ordinary rabbit. Any Monty Python fans out there will surely be shaking their heads. Good set, tight. What she got? Full stretch. She's got the defense, but all in vain. And as we're going to a third and deciding set, 21-18, this is by no means a clear cut. Leveling up. It is going to be a 1 versus 5 seedings. That is barnstorming affair. Third set action coming your way. We will have a word from Scape and have your company back in just a moment. We are going deep into the tournament here. Both teams are rolling. Maybe even an inspiration for Adele's song, Rolling in the Deep, is where we find ourselves. Start of the third set, semi-final. Medals of what colour and what variety up for grabs. The chance thereof at the very least. One team will be going through to the gold medal match. That is the winner. The other through to the bronze medal match. Still all to play for. And also bragging rights, regardless of what colour medal you get at the end of today. Great reach from Jenkins. She was outsized from Nikki Laird, but the strength of the shorter opponent came up trumps, at least with the joust. And as you saw, the end of the point went the way of just a random hand going at it. Went over and short out of the arms of the outstretched Christie Jenkins. So, first point, tight battle. 1-0, third set. Phoebe Bell, short serve, great serve. What a ripper. Whew. Love seeing her get into her work. here in Australia. She's had such a great last only few months competing in the King and Queen of the Court in Doha. Australian representative, absolutely cracking. Another short, brilliant serve. Ding-a-ling, ring-a-ding-ding for Bell. And then she, of course, she and Nikki returned from Mexico. Another Mexico reference, but actual Mexico this time. On the World Tour where they were really rolling with some big dogs of world volleyball. They've come back here for the Australian Championships, ready to go again, the #1 seeds. They found themselves 1 set to love down. Like true champions, they got their act together and now lead on the first end change by 3 points here in the third and deciding set, 4-1. Make that 5-1. Have the proverbial wheels fallen slightly rickety? I won't say off. They've become slightly rickety, Jenkins and Ingram. They rode the wave. And the Gold Coast is renowned for their waves. But they've got to keep paddling to get the next one. It's pretty flat out on the water, but it's woohoo! It's up and about here on centre court. Deep in the court this time. Huge swing and plenty more support coming from the #1s, or for the #1s rather. 7-2, absolutely getting into the work now. The #1 seeds. Early on a Sunday morning. Coffee's kicked in. Christie Jenkins is kicked in, but she can't quite get that one over the top of the net. We'll have a change of ends. 8 serving 2. Jenkins and Ingram not calling a timeout, as you would maybe forgive them for doing so, but they're just going to ride out the storm. They're going to get into their work, and that's not going to help proceedings for the Victorians. I already mentioned that they were Mexicans coming from south of the border, but the #1 seeds just came back from Mexico, so they know how to deal with them. And now we'll go into a timeout, and we don't know what's held in our future, but we do know that there is a futures tournament coming up at Coolangatta Beach as a part of the Volley Slam. You can check out all the action on www.volleyball.org.au. Or you can come down and check it out on the 30th of March right through to the 3rd of April for this World Tour Futures event here on the Gold Coast. Cheer like a pro, win like a pro. You got a fist pump right there from Nikki Laird on your screens, and you're going to get some fist pumping action again with her, again with her partner, Phoebe Bell, as they come back out of here onto centre court. Nikki Laird, the poster girl. Passionate athlete, absolutely loving life. Great control from Phoebe on the defense there. Good transition, nice control again from Jenkins. She's got the chance to attack. She's got a great roll shot over the top of the back of the block. Time for the Vics to move. First to double figures here in the third set. 10 serving 3. Commanding lead from our number 1 seeds. Nikki Laird, standing jump float. Great swing. They're not going down without a fight, but they need to start fighting hard. The Victorian duo of Jenkins and Ingram. They find themselves 6 points in arrears. Depending on what happens in the next 5 points, who knows? They could be done and dusted. So crunch time. 2-ball attack. Speaking of crunches, boom. Strong approach, strong attack, strong core. Straight to the floor. Change of ends. Bell with it. Goes deep. Great deep serve. She's gone short a lot, and with some success, it must be said. So when she sees the court position of the receiving team a little shorter, and maybe even just taking that sneaky step forward, just putting a flat one deep, just catching it high on the platform. Christie Jenkins blasting her way through the block with a 7-point buffer. There's a lot of work to do for the Victorians. They'll go down fighting. But Laird and Bell will approach victory swinging hard. They will not want to take their foot off the gas. They will want to build their game every chance they get, building into a possible Australian Championship. Middle of court. Great swing from Jenkins, but can't quite find the court. Maybe just that little slipperiness on the grip from the earlier shower we had. It's also just warm here. It's Queensland. It's autumn now. But it's Australia. It's always going to be a little bit warm. And you're playing sport. Of course you're going to be warm. Match point. Goes deep. Too long. 1 match point saved. Only 8 to go. Still match point. Christie Jenkins with the serve. What's she got? She's going to go. Oh, she spin to win. Gutsy, I like it. Crushed cross. Done and dusted. Number 1 seeds resuming regular programming and protocols. They go into the gold medal match, which you can catch here at the Oz Volley channel on YouTube at 11:30, rather 2 p.m. on SBS Viceland, going for the gold medal, rather. And Christie and Beck are not done yet. They will be on the bronze medal game at 11:30 here at YouTube at Oz Volley. We got that one sorted. Congratulations to Nikki and Phoebe, still in Australian Championships, up for grabs. Who they take on, we don't quite know yet. But next up here on centre court, it's going to be the Men's Elite semi-final. The number 5 seeds taking on the number 1s. We just saw that in the women's. But the blokes are up next. Sam Haley and Matthias Jaba of New South Wales, the number 5 seeds, taking on the number 1s, Isaac Carraher and Mark Nicolaides. Stay tuned, folks. Volley Slam, Gold Coast, Coolangatta, 2022.
Jan Golden Knights. Thanks for joining us. Australian Championship 2022 Volley Slam on the Coolangatta Gold Coast.
Christie.